night sky, feather and bone. The eagle went forward. We were not alone, guided by the eagle, home from Red River Rock. Step by broken step, we found how strong we are. Arm on a shoulder, voices rough but clear. Guided by the eagle, we carried each other here. Old scars were speaking, names we once cursed, rivers that split us, we had to cross first. Hand to the cold road, hand to a friend. Somewhere between us, the fractures would mend. Guided by the eagle, home from Red River Rock. Step by broken step, we found how strong we are. Arm on a shoulder, voices rough but clear. Guided by the eagle, we carried each other here. We left as many, we rise as one. Oh, the fire in our circle looks like the sun. Oh, we know each heartbeat, we know each face. The road made us a people, the road became our place. Guided by the eagle, home from Red River Rock.
It's Brindlewolf and Diane, so listen up if you can. Yeah, journey with them
Welcome
today.
to the first episode of
They help you find
Phoenix
your
Talks,
way.
a podcast that Diane and I are going to be bringing
Mental
to you.
wellness is the
And we're going to be
topic of
talking
the hour.
about
Mental
various different
health and the
topics
power
that we
to tap into
decided what to talk
alignment
about.
will lead to our refinement. Phoenix Talks, a show like you've never seen. Phoenix Talks, awareness that has never been. Phoenix Talks with Brindlewolf and Diane. Phoenix Talks, so tune in if you can, as they help us to transform and find refuge from the storm. Because all the branches they will climb for you, just in the nick of time. With Brindlewolf and Diane, Phoenix Talks, so tune in if you can, as they help us to transform and find refuge from the storm. Because all the branches they will climb for you, just in the nick of time. Because they have a lot to say. Yeah, you'll feel different in every way. Oh, in alignment they have flown. Your transformation will be shown. Phoenix Talks, a show like you've never seen. Phoenix Talks, awareness that has never been. Phoenix Talks with Brindlewolf and Diane. Phoenix Talks, so tune in if you can. With Brindlewolf and Diane, Phoenix Talks, so tune in if you can.
The house when he walks in pours the usual drink. Long day, more of the same. Doesn't wanna think. All the buried feelings, knowing where they're from, not wanting to carry them inside, becomes numb. Whether chemical or foreign, avoids feelings inside, damage increasing daily, reality a thing to hide. He just keeps numbing the body, numbing the mind, trying to escape, leaving past behind, looking up, looking forward, craving a peace he can walk toward. Where tears once ran, her well is dry, a deep empty hole, barely getting by. Opinions and advice, nothing really new, only skim the surface, her sky's not even blue, covering it all up, putting on a mask that hides the reality, should anyone ever ask. But she just keeps numbing the body, numbing the mind, trying to escape, leaving past behind, looking up, looking forward, craving a peace she can walk toward. Life happens all around us while battling this curse, refusing to face it only makes things worse. We give ourselves the grace to finally release the bonds of torture and walk into our own peace. We find that numbing the body, numbing the mind, don't have to escape, can leave the past behind. We can look up, we can look forward, have that inner peace we can walk towards. We can find once again, love ourselves enough, stop suffering unknown. Even when life gets tough. Welcome everyone to Phoenix Talks.
You
And
did
I'm on
such
the
a
wrong side again.
fantastic job with that song. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michka, for sharing your beautiful voice and for sharing your beautiful gifts.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Oh, what are we talking about this week? We're talking about being or becoming numb, craving a peace.
So now this came up for you. Which direction are we heading in? Because this can go in so many different directions.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's start with the obvious one first.
Okay, go for it.
As somebody who used to numb chemically, because I had a rough day, needed to de-stress, Didn't want to think about things, even though, the irony of that is it just made me think of them more. I was just relaxed while doing it. And then, the line in the song, damage increasing daily,
Mhm.
it began to change, creating pain that didn't need to be there, that
Mhm.
I had created because of it.
Right.
And that's when I realized, I, I, I don't need this anymore. And while a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, are you going to go and get counseling for it?" Should have, things might have happened a little bit faster than they did, but it was my own journey and my own decision in leaving the numbness, which opened up, and I think this is why the topic came up, because leaving the numbness is almost as, if not more, painful going through it, making all of the realizations that you buried, looking at all of the things as they pop up that you were numbing chemically. And I know this resonates with some people that are watching, regardless of when, because they're either in the midst of leaving it or recovering from leaving it.
Mhm.
And the irony is that I don't consider myself a recovering alcoholic. I consider it recovering from being one.
Mhm. That's a healthier mindset, though, because you don't want to plant something on yourself permanently that you're actively working on not being anymore. And that's why hang on to labels that keep you stuck in places. So, what we do to numb comes from a place of already being numb
Yeah.
and wanting to numb out the numbness. So, let addictions of all kinds are great escapes for numbing the numbness, but the numbness already exists before we start actively deciding in what way we're going to escape the numbing with more numbing.
Right.
And
And
like this work,
part of it is missing that dopamine hit.
right, right.
If we want to
And
go to a chemical level with
and
it.
and we talked about that on the Bloom this week. Actually, if you guys were there on the chat, and if you haven't, go check it out. Because we were talking about how to bring yourself back to life and how to reignite your own spark and how to get yourself back into a healthier state
Right.
after being numb. When you become numb from trauma
Right.
and having to numb yourself to numb the existence, and that bringing up more pain than the existence itself is I think a great reason to talk about this topic, because we don't need to make it so hard. We don't need our circumstances to be this challenging.
Yep.
And if you are clean and sober, stay clean and sober, and let's implement new, healthier ways of numbing.
I
That
mean, one of
you'll
the
numb.
downsides that since last week, one of the downsides that I learned, how spirit has a way of throwing things at you
Mhm.
just out of the blue,
Right.
was that one, bringing up dopamine, is that one of the reasons why people struggle so much with addiction is because of the level of dopamine release that happens when you take in that foreign substance. Regardless of what it is, it gives that release that the body naturally will never at that level give.
Yeah.
I don't have the specific numbers in front of me to educate you on that, please feel free to look it up. What the example that I am basing this off of was based off of fentanyl. So if you want to look at what fentanyl typically releases, or how much dopamine typically gets released by fentanyl and why it creates such a need, because you're searching for that dopamine and that you will not be able to, on a human physical level, be able to get without. And once you experience it, the body wants more.
Mhm.
And that's
So
one reason why leaving the addictions, leaving being numb, is so difficult, and why their lives can fall apart.
right. And really, let's talk about, I think, importantly, why we numb, because we're already numb. And so, why we numb? We have the trauma, we have the issues, we have the stuff going on around us that we want to escape. And in that escape, we get that momentary relief, that momentary release. And this is all in regards to just the chemical numbness and not like other types of numbing. We can give ourselves a chemical release. Is it going to be equal to something else? No, but that's still an option. But I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to talk about why. We're
Right.
used to the volatility. We're used to the extreme highs and the extreme lows in our trauma, right? And so when we get that bit of release, when we get that bit of like, oh, it's peaceful for a moment, that moment is so short that we really don't have any room for our own healing. And so we're trying not to face ourselves and face the reality at the end of the day, the reality of our situation, the reality of what made us numb, the reality of why we're in the situation that we're in. And a lot of that has to do with we didn't choose ourselves. We didn't put
Right.
ourselves on the priority. We're abandoning our own needs and neglecting our own needs. And we're self-medicating in order to escape.
Yeah, I like this from Michael. Numbing the numb so we can feel anything else.
Right. 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 And listen, if you're neurospicy, using substances provides some kind of, I mean, like, unless you're neurospicy, especially ADHD, and unless you really understand what it's like to have such a noisy head 24/7, and if you're not practicing that conscious awareness of self and the presence and the healing journey, if you're not doing all these things that we teach, you're not going to be able to regulate yourself enough. And that smooth, soft, quick hit that happens with the substances is because we're not taking a look at and doing actively the work that needs to be done in order to keep ourselves in a state of like, okay, I'm creating my own arousal. I'm creating my own regulation chemically through
Right.
these X, Y, and Z practices. The substances, the danger is it the hit you get from that, because it's so intense and releasing, you get caught up in that cycle.
You get locked.
You get locked into that cycle, but you're not locked permanently. You can break
No.
free from those chains.
Right. Right.
And that's not going to happen permanently. Like you were saying, you're not even calling yourself a recovering, because that's not true. You're different stage now. So when we hang on to the idea that that's our only option, and we choose not to look at ourselves and be honest with ourselves about our circumstances and situation and actually take the steps to make the changes that we need. And, a lot of times it's not easy because you don't have assistance, and you can't afford rehab. You can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are organizations and there are options.
Right.
You need to ask for help, because in those periods of time, you don't have the capacity to do that yourself.
Right. And I just had an interesting, thanks, Spirit. This is cool.
Yeah.
You know how, think of a rechargeable drill. Okay, the battery that you pull out and you plug in. Now, the first time you use it, it's going to last and last. It's going to read just like the packaging and last you for that 45 minutes of solid drilling. Then you charge it after you use it. reduces the power. And then you charge it again after it's emptied out, reduces the power. Don't charge it at half full because it'll lock right in there. And then that's all you'll be able to get. This is how numbing the numb works.
Mhm.
For
So
many people.
why are we numbing? I think the
Yeah, let's
the important piece is, why are we numbing? We're numbing because we don't want to face the truth.
right.
We're
I'm
numbing.
gonna ask the chat real. I'm gonna ask the live chat real quick while we are chatting. I want you guys to think of something that an emotion, an event that you just numbed from, that you don't want to remember and you just went numb about. Throw it in the chat so that we can share it.
Yeah.
But why do we numb? Why would we want to take ourselves out of a natural state?
So if we're in environments where we're buried around people and places and things that are keeping us at a state of heightened awareness, that are shaming us for anything that might feel safe, that are mocking us for anything that might feel natural, and we don't have an example of anyone or anything telling us or showing us what a different way of being is, we're not going to know the difference. And so it really is this, I think, recovering from addiction and the numbing stuff that we do. This is just one branch of this whole numbing topic.
Oh gosh, yes.
But I think that that's when we get to a place where our body chemistry is involved and we are no longer become able to manage our own body chemistry, we do have to ask for help. We
Right.
do have to ask for organizations or guidance. That's not easy to do, especially when you're under the influence of something and looking for your next thing. So I'm not an expert in this area. This is not my area of, extreme.
Me really neither.
So take what
My own
resonates,
experiences
right?
and
Take what
whatever,
resonates,
yeah, and whatever I'm being fed.
uh, take what resonates, leave what doesn't, because
Exactly.
everyone's going to have different things.
I mean, we've
That
got over in the chat
we do,
leaving extreme abusive. I'm not going to call out names for
right,
integrity, but leaving extreme abusive marriage,
right,
reducing trauma,
right.
rape, using food to numb, to comfort
Hmm.
over family issues. Another rape.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's a lot of hard things
Right.
that we
Losing a
need to
child.
face. Losing a child. These are all very real and hard things.
Because the emotions just happen.
Right.
You remember that catcher's mitt that I talked about last week?
Yeah.
Remember that? I think it was last week. It was either last week or week before, but I know that catcher's mitt in the heart.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't release, because in baseball, does the catcher hold on to the ball? No, he throws it back to the pitcher. But
Yeah.
when we are hit with something that is so deep on an emotional experience level that we can't let go. We feel like we have to hold on to it. And the harder that we feel like, Stephanie and I talked about this today, the harder that we feel like we have to let go of something, the stronger we hold on to it.
Mhm. But like anything, the tighter you hang on to the rope, the tighter it burns into and breaks into your skin and squeezes you. And so in all of these circumstances, before we reach for that next numbing hit, that's where we have an opportunity to decide to choose ourselves on a different level. And that is such a challenging thing. It is not easy to pull yourself out of any kind of numbing situation, especially, which is why I say you got to get help. There's help out there. So in that time in between where you're looking, before you go get and look for your next, use that time intentionally to go find an organization, to go make a phone call, even if it's just a phone call and you go into a cycle again. You did something and that's momentum forward. And then next cycle, you do it. Another attempt at trying. You can't stop trying. You don't want to give up on yourself. And I think that's
Right.
what I'm trying to say is there's a moment in between there, and it's going to take time in order for you to get yourself pulled out. But ultimately, we can be more powerful than our body chemistry, but that takes time to get to that place. It involves the love that you give yourself. It involves the compassion that you give yourself, and it involves the healing journey that you put yourself on, because ultimately it becomes, I'm never going back to that ever again. And that choice, because you love yourself more differently and can now regulate and process the emotions that are coming up. When you learn how to walk through those emotions, you don't have to numb yourself anymore, because it's like, oh, that was it? Oh, okay. And I'm not saying that negates the depth and the pain of the circumstances. I'm saying you can walk yourself through it in a different way with that self-love and compassion that makes it a hell of a lot easier than ruminating on and repeating the actual events over and over and over again that make you want to escape them. It's like the buffalo head into the storm in order to get over it quick, get out of it quick.
Right.
You know, everything that we go through that makes us want to numb is meant for us to be challenged to choose ourselves. And I think that's the thing. I mean, like I see a few of those there I've experienced. Neither of us are exempt from wanting to numb. My wanting to numb sometimes is going to look very different than someone else's. I smoke cannabis. I did go through a period where that was my numb. That's because I wasn't using it intentionally. I was using it to escape. So that happens. But I was able to pull myself into a different state of being. I mean, granted, you can't get physically addicted, but you can get psychologically addicted. We talked about that.
Because of the dopamine.
Right. And the reality is because it's like a practice in avoidance. This numbing the numb is avoidance. Let's call it what it is. We're avoiding the stuff that we don't want to face, the stuff that's too painful, the stuff that we didn't deserve, the violation, the betrayal, the abandonment, the neglect, the abuse.
Yeah.
That's the underlying stuff. And when we're not practicing, go on, listen to the bloom, because that tells you how to get yourself out of those numb states. When we practice getting ourselves out of that numbing state and practice that self-love that we teach, we can get ourselves to a place of not wanting to continue old behaviors.
Right.
So I guess
and like the video that Cash Angel shared with me earlier today, where a man has a load of rocks that he's carrying on his back and approaches a Buddhist monk. And the Buddhist monk asks him why he's carrying all those rocks and well, these are just things that have happened to me that I have to hold on to. Why? I'm summing up, but if you had a bag of rocks on your back and each one of those rocks had an event in your life that changed you in a negative way, and you still carry that with you, you can choose to put them down.
I think a little bit of radical acceptance is necessary too when we want to get ourselves out of numbing the numb, because not everything we experience is something that we can learn from. Sometimes just shitty things happen, period. That should never, ever be experienced by any human being, period. Sometimes it's just shit. So we do need to practice that radical acceptance and understand that you cannot change what occurred. You cannot change the betrayal, but what you can do is help yourself understand you and what you will and won't tolerate and what you won't allow yourself to experience and what you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
and I'm not talking about preventing a traumatic event, because we can't prevent traumatic events. Sometimes they're forced on us. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the way you look at it, the perspective that you have, the way you look at yourself, because ultimately what ends up happening with all of these traumatic events is that we end up hating ourselves. That's the part that we can change. That's the part that we have control over. We don't have to turn that hatred inward and that anger inward, and we don't have to punish ourselves for the shit that we went through. That's the piece. So that the truth is, first, let's start with, why am I punishing myself? Why do I feel like I need to punish myself? I didn't create this. This was forced upon me. I didn't ask for this.
Plug for the forgiveness episode.
Yes.
Go watch it.
Yes.
It's in the list.
Yes. Right. The radical acceptance will help us.
That's another episode.
Get to the point that we need to get to in order to recognize we don't have to hate ourselves. We don't have to punish ourselves because we experienced something. The experience happened. It sucked ass. We never want to do that again. Let's not hate ourselves for it and blame ourselves and shame ourselves for it. That's just going to make us want to numb more. Shame.
I punished myself because I allowed it to happen, even though I didn't.
Well, the thing is, you don't allow yourself to have a horrible traumatic situation. I've had really shitty things happen to me. I didn't allow those things to happen to me like that.
And that doesn't define you after.
And you don't necessarily allow. You survive the circumstances. That's a big, huge distinguish. Sometimes when our amygdala takes over because we are in danger, the safest thing we can do for ourselves is nothing. Do not confuse allowing something to happen to you with your nervous system keeping you safe and protected. Okay? We don't want any of this stuff. What I don't want you to allow is the self-hatred. That's the part we don't want to allow.
No.
The shame, the guilt, the whatever trauma the reasons for you to escape. You're creating reasons for you to escape more with those shame-based, fear-based, self-loathing mindsets and behaviors. Okay?
And here's the interesting part. You know how quickly you can look at a program on TV especially those who have cable and satellite. You know how you can look at a program on a channel? Nope, click. See if you like the next one. Nope, click. See if you like the next one. Nope, click. And you do that until you find what you like. If you feel like you allowed something, no. After it's over. And this isn't a shame, this isn't a should, this isn't more pressure. You get to choose what you allow your experience to be. And if you think that you're allowing yourself to stay in a mindset and loop, you've become numb. And you can get out of it. All you have to do is decide what experience within yourself you are or aren't going to allow. Change the channel.
Change how you talk to yourself is where it starts. Find the channel where you're speaking life into yourself and kindness and compassion and support and advocacy for yourself. because you deserve to be on this planet and enjoy life for what it is without escaping from it. You're not letting yourself live, you're escaping and existing. And you deserve so much more than that. So find that channel that says wonderful, loving things to yourself.
You're the station manager.
And
No
if you
one
don't,
else is.
right. And if you don't have an example of it around you, it is on social media and some movies, and just pay attention to what feels right. Or here's one: pay attention to what evokes an emotion and makes you want to cry. Because there's something missing there for you, like that void that you saw somewhere else.
I like
Sometimes we
this.
need to be numb for a while to be ready to look at the remote control. Absolutely, Nikki.
I
This
won't
is a
disagree.
process, which is why I said in that point where you're looking for the next hit, do a step, and then you might fall in, but then do it again in the next moment. It's a process to just build the momentum to get yourself out, but each step counts. I think the biggest mistake is the idea that, like, oh well, unless I'm going to go 100%, it's not going to happen. That's a fallacy. That's not true.
Yeah.
Everything takes a little bit of shift, a little bit for you to build up.
It's like I was talking on Brindle's Vision yesterday. Baby steps are the most important ones,
Mm-hmm.
including coming out of numbness. Sometimes, and I know a few people this is going to hit home with, but sometimes all you want to do is to lay under heavy blankets and stare at the ceiling instead of doing anything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And until it becomes a problem in other ways, you might stay there,
Mm-hmm.
feeling absolutely numb,
Yeah.
not wanting to feel a fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
And any little bitty thing that you feel is too much. And it makes you angry that it's too much. So you decide that you're going to continue laying there until you stop being angry and hurt and numb. You see what I did there?
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to get angry to exit being numb.
Right.
Angry that this has gone on long enough. And sometimes we got to shame ourselves in order to get out of bed.
So,
am I wrong?
Well, I wouldn't use the word shame, because I
But they do. I use that specific word to get their attention because I know the thought processes that go on with a lot of people that watch this. So
Right.
they're like, wait, didn't they just tell us not to shame ourselves? And now he's telling us to shame ourselves to get out of bed.
Sometimes self-motivation might sound like your familiar shame, but the way you see it and the attitude that you have toward yourself is what is going to make the difference.
Yes.
So you're not going to approach yourself with an attitude of shame. You're trying to motivate yourself, and sometimes that requires firm boundaries with yourself. That's not shame. That's motivation with backing coming from the same source, aka you. If you need a buddy, I would make several phone calls. But if you need somebody who's actually going to do something immediately that will actually try to do something for you, don't call the people who you party with.
No.
Those are the wrong people to call. Call the organizations. Call people who don't know your whole
bring you
story.
what you need.
Right. People who don't know, this is going to sound strange, but sometimes strangers are more helpful than friends when you're trying to get out of those kinds of situations.
Sorry,
Okay.
Nikki just made me laugh.
This neighbor belongs down the street. Bell shouting, shame, shame.
Get the fuck up. Be ashamed of yourself laying in bed all day not doing anything.
I'm like, oh God, we had to open it up with that word. No, we're not teaching shame. No,
we're not. We are
motivation with
I'm
boundaries.
So yes.
And I understand why you use that word to kind of jolt people.
Because they do it to themselves.
Stop doing that.
Yes.
You're keeping yourself down.
If you're doom scrolling, if you are watching TV too late, if you are laying in bed too long in the day, and you hear this internal voice saying, get up, just listen to it.
Yeah.
I have my own. Because there are times that I will get caught up in something and the dopamine rush will, even late at night, the dopamine rush will just be going and going. I'll be playing a game on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, got to get to the next level. Oh, got to get to the next level. Go to bed. Okay. This is part of listening to yourself. Because there's a voice inside that is trying to get your attention. Many times it comes in the form of shaming yourself and shoulding yourself. It doesn't have to.
That's not healthy. It needs to shift into that motivation, that self-boundary. Self-boundaries might feel like you're shaming yourself, but only if you're not doing it with compassion. If you're not intentionally choosing to put yourself on the priority list and do things for yourself in a healthy way. It's such a minor shift in the mindset that could go, either you're going to shame and keep yourself in those spirals, or you're going to empower yourself and love yourself through it. The tiny tweak into that mindset of, it's okay. I have compassion for myself and I accept this entire journey, no matter what it looks like, no matter how many times I fall, I'm going to keep getting up again. I got my own back. Those kinds of talks in your head, especially if you're neurospicy and you go into a burnout mode or a paralysis mode, which often occurs because of overwhelm, okay? Or understimulation and overstimulation at the same time, or whatever the circumstances may be. Exactly. So we need to give ourselves permission to set those hard boundaries. It's only us. We're only talking to ourselves in our head. So the only judgment and shame that we're projecting on is ourselves. So we don't need to do that. We can shift it entirely into that setting boundaries, prioritizing, and getting ourselves into that creative state of being, maybe just implementing something new and different, choosing a different numbing, pouring out opportunity and potential. Let's stop pouring out opportunity and potential. So being in love with yourself, thank you, Cash Angels, is a great way to give yourself a hit. But again, listen to the Bloom and listen to the other episodes that relate to all the healing work that has to happen to put yourself on that priority list, to get yourself to that. I'm going to set hard boundaries. The neurospices, talk to yourself. You're the only one listening in your head. Talk to yourself. Listen. I myself, when I get into those, because it's going to happen, my brain and my nervous system are very different and they don't belong in this world. So I got to navigate. And sometimes it's going to be like this. Sometimes I'm going to have to talk to myself and say, move your foot, wiggle your toes, move your foot, stand up, 5, 4, 3, 2, or whatever kind of techniques that you use. And then I have to tell myself, don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. Don't think, just do. And I will repeat in my head the task that I gave myself to get my momentum flowing. Sometimes the hyper focus needs to be on taking that step and that boundary in that moment. That's the prioritizing you and your needs. It may sound absolutely ridiculous to yourself. Who cares? Why are you judging? You have to give yourself that gift of getting yourself to the next level, whatever it looks like. Compassionately, no judgment, no shame, loving boundaries. Let's see what we got here. We got a lot going on in the chat.
That's Nikki, that still makes me laugh. And must be nice. Even though I honestly, if he experienced the opposite side, I mean, so many of us crave peace in our minds, right? We crave peace, and that's all he's got. Wonder if he ever craves noise.
Can I time out right here?
Absolutely.
There's truth to what our body needs and craves, especially in the neurodivergent brain, which I feel like most of the folks who lean on the chemicals and stuff like that to escape, it's because it provides a different level of soothing, if you will. In that neurospicy brain, we do need some kind of stimulation. That's why it's important to what I call healthy addictions. Just replace that behavior with something else. The chemical substances, the alcohol, you've got to get help with that, period, because you're dealing with your body chemistry. You could damage some things. Get help, period. All the stuff, generally, when we get to this place and are capable of this, we have got to give ourselves some healthy hits. And sometimes that comes in the form of stimulating the nervous system through visual, audio stimulation. That's where, okay, we tell you to clean up what you're watching and what you're listening to. We tell you to keep it all like love and, all that kind of stuff. You can do that and keep it love and stimulate yourself. There's plenty of television shows out there, like The Outpost or whatever you're into. Find television shows or whatever shows or movies that have a wholesome message in it, show loving relationships, show healthy feel-good moments, but are packed with action, or, like, there you go, there's your nervous system stimulation. It might sound ridiculous because we don't think of these things. We tell you to clean up because your nervous system needs to relax and it's overstimulating. But when there are times where you desperately need that little bit of stimulation, that's when you give yourself the treat of watching those things or listening to those things that activate your fight or flight.
Yeah, if you want to feel better about yourself, don't watch Game of Thrones.
No.
If you want to feel better about what's going on in the world, watch a show where things happen the way they should, the way that we wish that it would.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole nother rabbit hole I'm just going to dance around and exit. I'll explain later. If Disney makes you happy, watch Disney.
I can't say the messages are wholesome, though. I mean, they kind of promote misogyny and patriarchy.
Trying to find wholesome shows anymore.
But what is define wholesome?
Exactly.
And maybe this is something important for us to talk about, because if we're not replacing information with new, healthier information, and we're not able to differentiate or distinguish what that is, we're not really helping ourselves.
No.
We're just reinforcing the same programs and paradigms that are making us want to numb.
Or finding a new way to numb.
Right. So that's
be a distraction.
Exactly. That's another addiction, is avoiding through binge watching. So the idea is we always have to expand our knowledge, because we're not going to move forward unless we find something to replace that with, those mindsets, those beliefs with.
That part.
Schitt's Creek. We got Schitt's Creek. We've got we're getting stuff that we go through. I mean, okay, I don't want to get into all that stuff, but I think the underlying point is there's hope. We don't have to numb the numb. That's practicing avoidance. We can radically accept the truth, face it, and allow ourselves to feel what we need to feel and love ourselves through it and empower ourselves through it and choose to do the work to implement new thought patterns and behaviors. Choose to find other ways that are less damaging to numb and escape and avoid until we're at a place where we don't need to avoid anymore. It's a process with no shame, just strategic, hard, loving boundaries for yourself that motivate you to change. Give yourself a reason to change. Ask for help, not from the people around you who are part of the problem, from people who don't know your whole situation and have zero like third-party neutral opinion, okay? Those seem to be the most helpful when you need the most help. That's the truth, unfortunately, for some circumstances. Don't shame or self-loathe because no one to turn to. Yes, there is. I promise you, I have received more help from perfect strangers who had a neutral stance in my entire existence and didn't know where I came from or who I was before they spoke to me. I got more help, direction, and more stability from strangers in my life than I did from all the folks who projected their idea of what they wanted me to be.
Yeah.
There's no shame in that. That's a fallacy that you need to throw in the trash. Ask for help. I know we got more going on.
See the head placed on the hands. That's just him waiting. It is.
Papa waits. And it's almost time, Papa, so you go for it.
It is. It is. I just want everyone to understand the significance of being or becoming numb and moving away from it. We talked about healthier addictions. Don't think of it as an addiction because you already have an idea about what that word means. Don't shame yourself because you're doing something that you know is harmful. Because you know what that means. Don't manipulate yourself into something else because then you feel like, well, I know what that word means. Usually, we've talked about that.
Call it a coping skill. But it's a survival coping skill. And we want to get out of survival and implement healthy coping skills.
Right. If you feel numb, if you need to feel numb, you already know how to feel. Congratulations. You know how to feel. If you are trying to avoid a certain feeling by numbing it, you know how to feel. You know what feelings you like to have. You know what feelings you don't like to have. Can you stop them? Maybe. Can you stop the thought about them because it got triggered? No. Can you choose the experience that you wish to have? Yes. You can.
Starting with the voice in your head and how you speak to yourself. The greatest self-sabotage we have is us. We can't change the circumstances that made us want to numb, but we can change how we view ourselves and how we help ourselves out of it. I think that's the whole point.
Yep. Like or dislike? Guess what? That's a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
It's an experience that you have based off of a feeling, whether you like something or dislike something. So guess what? You've always felt. Isn't that interesting to learn today?
Numbing is dissociation, and you're disconnected from yourself. So reconnect with your body first and foremost. Your body will tell you how it feels and whether you like it or not. But because we are numbing ourselves, we're disconnected from our bodies. Reconnect with paying attention to what your body's telling you.
I just threw a monkey wrench at Sheila, and she's like resisting it. No, that's a lie. No, I haven't been feeling all this. Yes, you have. Yes, you have. You've been having an experience based off of feeling, based off of a thought. Yes, you have. So if you can laugh, you know what dopamine feels like. If you can hear a piece of music and it takes your breath away.
Mm-hmm. Marie, I'm not ready yet.
If you have a dog that knows what time it is, and you can set a clock by it. Because that jarred you, didn't it?
Stay. Good girl.
That bark right when it was silent. Thank you, Marie.
That's my Marie.
Because you just woke everybody up.
That's right. And Bubble Kittens, I hear Stewie's voice in my head when she does that. Mom, mommy, mom, mom, mommy, mom.
Yep. I don't know what we're going to talk about next week. Not yet.
We don't know yet. It might
We'll let
be. Well, we don't know.
Not yet.
We don't know where we're going. Follow us.
You know, I haven't done this in a while, but I'm going to. If you can find all of the links at the bottom of the website, the main page. Once you sign in, you can find all the links to talk to myself, Rev D, Lunaria even. If you need someone else, you can find those links there on the website. They're all there. You're not alone. You don't have to live numb. That peace that you crave, you can find. It's within you. It always was. Someone may have interrupted it. Interrupted. They can't take from you what you always have available to you.
The idea is unburying what that peace is for you, unburying what love is for you, and unburying and unlearning all the crap that's making you want to escape.
Oh, and as far as the links, you don't have to log into the website. They are on the main page, regardless of whether you've subscribed or not. Thank you, Michael, for letting me know that. All right, everyone, I want you to close your eyes for just a minute because you took a lot in tonight. Just close your eyes for a second. I want you to take a nice, deep, slow breath in through the nose. And if you feel like putting a hand on your heart, do that. And feel your heart. And exhale it out. And do that one more time. And just slow it down. Slow the mind down. You don't have to be numb. We'll see you tomorrow morning on The Core and find out what shit we can't make up then. At 11 a.m. Tune in later tonight over on Rise Radio at 9 p.m. Eastern for Honky Tonk Heaven. I've got a few songs that I recorded today for that show specifically. If you want to go and check that out. So did Michael J. Oh, and we did a duet. Maybe he'll play it. I don't know. We'll see. But love yourselves.
Yeah.
Deeply.
So deeply.
Keep glowing.
Thank
Keep
you.
growing.
Let's rise together.
And keep going. We'll see you tomorrow.
Empty house when he walks in, pours the usual drink. Long day, more of the same. Doesn't wanna think. All the buried feelings, knowing where they're from, not wanting to carry them inside, becomes numb. Whether chemical or foreign, avoids feelings inside, damage increasing daily, reality a thing to hide. He just keeps numbing the body, numbing the mind, trying to escape, leaving past behind, looking up, looking forward, craving a peace he can walk toward. Where tears once ran, her well is dry, a deep empty hole, barely getting by. Opinions and advice, nothing really new, only skim the surface, her sky's not even blue, covering it all up, putting on the mask that hides the reality, should anyone ever ask. But she just keeps numbing the body, numbing the mind, trying to escape, leaving past behind, looking up, looking forward, craving a peace she can walk toward. Life happens all around us while battling this curse, refusing to face it only makes things worse. We give ourselves the grace to finally release inner bonds of torture and walk into our own peace. We find that numbing the body, numbing the mind, don't have to escape, can leave the past behind. We can look up, we can look forward, have that inner peace we can walk toward. We can find once again, love ourselves enough, stop suffering alone. Even when life gets tough.
It's Brindlewolf and Diane, so listen up if you can. Yeah, journey with them today as they help you find your way. Oh, mental wellness topic of the hour, mental health and the power to tap into our alignments. Will lead to our refinement.
Hey, this is Brindlewolf.
And I'm Lunaria.
You're listening to Rise Awakenings, part of the Rise Radio Network where advice meets action.
We're here to spark your growth, lift your spirit, and help you crush your potential.
Rise awakening, hear the call. Through the static, we break the wall. Your station, your voice, where dreams awaken in time. Rise awakening, now is the time.
Rise Awakenings. Let's rise together.